Counselor. Today I'm going to show you how to create a texture and overlay it on a shape in Illustrator. So first I'm going to make sure that I have a texture to work with. I already downloaded one from OneDrive, so you should be able to find a folder there with all the textures in them. And then I will open up Illustrator, which I have opened up already. This is kind of an example of how it's going to look in the end. So you can tell that the texture is overlaid in the shape, but there's no texture going outside of the shape. Okay, so I'm going to create a new document, File, New, and I'm going to click OK. And then I'm going to place the texture that I downloaded. So File, Place, find the texture from my downloads here, and then click Place. Boom, there it is. Okay, now I don't want to click out because I want to make sure that my texture is selected for this next step. So I'm going to click it, and then we're going to image trace it. So I'm going to click Window, Image Trace. Now this is going to vectorize the texture. Okay, so I want to make sure my mode is set to black and white. My threshold is going to either increase or decrease the shape of the texture. Okay, so I'm going to click Trace and watch as it vectorizes. Boom. Okay, so now you can see the difference from the sketch look to now it's more of a graphic looking sketch. So the threshold, if I want to decrease the texture size, I can decrease the threshold. If I increase the threshold, it'll do the opposite. So you can watch what happens here. Okay, so it got a little bit thinner, and I kind of like that style, so I'm going to keep it. And then I'm going to make sure I click it again. I want to make all these little individual texture pieces individual pieces. So in order to do that, I make sure I have my shape selected. I'm going to go up to Object, Expand, make sure that Object and Fill are selected, and I'm going to click OK. Boom. So now you'll know that it has been expanded because all these little blue dots pop up. Okay? Now I'm going to click out of that. And you may not see it, but there's actually white surrounding this whole shape and inside these little crevices too. So I want to get rid of that because I don't want that to show on when I overlay it on an actual shape. So I need to get my direct selection tool. I'm going to select all of the white from the background and click Delete. So now it's gone. There's still some white inside of this shape though, so you can see like it highlights when I bring my mouse over top of this area. So I'm going to click Delete. And the other areas inside here. So I'm not going to spend the whole time deleting all of this white, but you kind of get the gist. So you got to go through and get rid of the white in order for this to be see-through. Okay, so that's good for now. I'm going to go File, Save As, because I want to save this texture as a vector shape. So I can say Texture 1, and I can save it as an Illustrator file. And I'm going to save it to my desktop. Save. And OK. OK, next step. I am then going to go File, New. Now just for practice, I'm going to do a little bit of shape practice with my texture. So I'm going to click OK. And I'm going to, in my new document, I'm going to create a shape first. So over here in my pre-made shape tools, I'm going to select the ellipse tool. And I'm going to create a circle. So I'm going to press and hold Shift, drag to make the circle, double click here in the color, and click the color that I want. Click OK. So now it's a blue circle. It's pretty nice. So I have this circle here. Next step, I want to overlay the texture on top of the circle. So I'm going to go back to my texture that I just created. I'm going to select it. I'm going to press Command C to copy the texture. Go back to my shape, Command V to paste the texture on top, and I'm going to press Option Shift to resize the texture to where I want it to be. Okay, so there it is there. Now the next step, it's going to be kind of like a sandwich for me to make a mask on top. with the texture. So I'm going to copy this circle
I sold nothing
on the first layer. I'm going to copy after I select the layer, Command C. And then to place the circle right on top, I want to press Command Shift V. Okay, so it's like a sandwich. So I have, if I look at my layers, I have the circle on the bottom, the texture in the middle, and the circle on top. Okay. Now I want to select just the texture and the top circle to create a clipping mask for this texture to work. Okay. But first I need to make this circle a compound shape. So I'm going to select it. I'm going to go to Object, Compound Path, Make. Okay. Next, I'm going to lock my bottom layer because I don't want to select this. I just want the middle texture and the top shape. So I'm going to select both of them. Then I'm going to unlock my layer, and then I'm going to go Object, Clipping Mask, Make. And as you can see, the texture has clipped and masked to the circle that I selected. Okay, and that's how you do it.